Hi, this is Chaplain Tyler, and you're watching this video and You Got This with Tyler. Compassion fatigue impacts a person's identity. We tend to think of ourselves in very specific ways. Think of things like the I am statements. I am kind, I am gentle, I am punctual, I am patient, I am gentle. All of those things are things that we value in ourselves and that we recognize that's who we are. Compassion fatigue changes that, but it changes it in a subtle way and in a gradual way. When I was going through compassion fatigue, at the first steps of that, the first part of that, I really didn't know what was happening too much. The symptoms were pretty minimal. I just felt a little bit tired, a little bit fatigued, and it really didn't impact my identity. I still was the capable, caring, respectful individual that I'd always prided myself to be. However, as compassion fatigue grew more severe, I found that my identity started to come into question. Things like, hey, I thought I was patient. Why am I snapping at this person? Hey, I thought I was gentle. Why am I being so direct? Hey, I thought I was caring. Why do I not care about what's happening with these people anymore? Hey, I thought I was healthy. Why do I have all these little things happening in my body and weird things happening in my mind? It doesn't make any sense. Identity is something that we hold in ourselves, and it's something that takes quite a bit for us to question, I find. And yet, compassion fatigue does a way of doing that, but again, it's subtle. When I started getting into the more moderate time of compassion fatigue, all I knew was something's not right. I still am this loving, caring person, but I can't act like it. And that caring was still there, but the energy needed to bring to bear to care wasn't there. It just wasn't there. And when I moved into the more severe compassion fatigue, that's when the questions of identity really started. I began to question the validity of the images of myself that I had held, and wondered, am I ever going to get back to that? I still think I am that, but am I? Am I really? The questions that came with compassion fatigue were deep ones, and ones that I didn't know how to answer, because I didn't know if I'd ever be better again. I didn't know. I knew something was wrong, but I wasn't able to identify exactly what was happening. And I think that was part of the problem. Most of us now know that we don't want to internalize conditions, meaning that we don't want the condition to dictate our identity. So, for example, somebody who is schizophrenic, we don't say they're schizophrenic. We say they have the symptoms of schizophrenia. That way, their identity is not as a schizophrenic. It's just how we label things, and it's how we know that our identity is key to our own sense of self-worth and self-respect. Well, in severe compassion fatigue, it's difficult to separate that out. It's difficult to say, still this loving, caring person, because you're not. I wasn't. It was impossible. And I didn't know to name it compassion fatigue at the time, but I did name it other things like burnout or depression or anxiety. And it was really difficult to not say, hey, I am burned out. That's my identity. My identity wasn't a burnout. My identity was I was still a loving, caring, respectful person who wanted to help make a difference in the world, but lacked the emotional and physical energy to make that happen. I wasn't able to make that distinction very easily. So this is a message for people who are experiencing any form of compassion fatigue, or maybe burnout or some other kind of condition. Your identity is not based on that illness or that condition, that status. Your identity is based on the deeper issues of who you are and what you bring to this world. And something to remember is that conditions change. Our state of mind changes. We go through seasons, we go through phases, we go through times in our lives where things are different. But your identity is not based on how you feel. Your identity is based on the deeper values and the deeper parts of who you are. So be encouraged. If you're going through something very difficult right now, that's not your identity. Your identity is much more different than that. And an identity doesn't just change because of how you feel or something that you're going through. So I leave that with you. I want you to feel encouraged, supported today, and know that it does get better. It may take some time, but it can get better. And I look forward to supporting and helping those of you who need it anytime. All right, you can contact me at You Got This with Tyler and direct message me. And I also have a course on compassion fatigue, an online course that I'm offering to help people systematically work through the compassion fatigue. It's less than the cost of 3 counseling sessions, and it's also something you can do yourself. So be encouraged. It does get better. And I look forward to helping you. Take care. Blessings.